I'm not going to rush. It's everything in me, is tempted to, and yet I know that that is not God honoring. We're going to miss a lot of what God has for us if we're not paying attention. And I would suggest there's a lot of things that he wants us to see every day. And if we are in a rush, we're missing it.
As we watch society and we watch the world, we go into Christmas with this crazy rush of and even not just the world. I mean, even as you're talking about doing a Jessie tree and doing Advent and going to the Christmas pageant and going to see the Nutcracker and going to look at Christmas lights and getting all the gifts, that we want to get for our family members and preparing the Christmas meal and who's coming over to our house and who's going to prepare what. And I mean, there's so many things to think about that it can become very overwhelming to where suddenly it's not a joy anymore. Now it just seems like the whole month of December, between Thanksgiving and Christmas is overwhelming and it's a burden.
Yeah.
So how can we stay away from that? How can we as Christians still show our kids Jesus through the holidays, through even Thanksgiving, because we have so much to be thankful for, and then through Christmas as we celebrate the birth of our risen Savior? Mm-hmm. How can we keep that balance of celebrating but not going overboard and still being able to breathe?
Yeah. I mean, you're asking the most important question, I think, as we face the season. And I think the first answer, the short answer is, I think we've got to be intentional. Because if we're not intentional, we're just going to get caught up in it. And I have found over the last several years, I am determined not to be busy. I don't want to be characterized as busy. I don't want to be busy. I want to have large gaps in my calendar and in my day. I just don't think it's God honoring for us to just run around like chickens with our heads cut off. I don't believe that. I do not think that that is what we are called to. I think we are called to dare to not be busy. And so I think that's the first thing, is to intentionally breathe, like you're saying. So today, and you know this because we scheduled this interview, I'm actually hosting the company the company Christmas party at our house tomorrow night. So downstairs on my island is a list longer than I am tall of things that I still need to get done. And this morning I discovered that although I thought I had everything, I had to go out and get one more thing, and it's storming in Charlotte today. It's just whole thing. But you know what? I have determined, and I think part of it is God is real. I really, a lot of people that I know and respect are sort of in this with me. They're trying to learn, what does it look like to sort of pull back from the rush of culture? What does it look like to not be in a hurry all the time? And so even this morning when I discovered, oh, great, I've got to go out and there's 4 more things I remembered I needed to do, to just downshift, not shift into a higher gear, because that's what would seem the most reasonable, right? Not panic, but to go, you know what, God, you've got it. You've got it. I will be diligent and I will do the next thing. But as I go, as I step in today and I go and I interact with these people at these stores, these cashiers, these strangers, I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to be difficult. I'm going to look them in the eye and engage with them at the checkout, and I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to come home and I'm going to engage with my husband, and I'm going to breathe, and I'm not going to rush. It's everything in me, is tempted to, and yet I know that that is not God honoring. So I was struck. I got to tell you this. So Sunday, need a little bit of a shout out to my pastor. We were studying the whole Christmas, because we're in church, right? It's Advent. So we're studying the whole story of Christmas. And when he stepped into the lesson, he said something at the very beginning. I was like, oh, I know where he's going with this, right? So full disclosure, I thought I knew where he was going, and he didn't go there. So I want to give him credit, for the first step, but I want to pull it all the way through. So in talking about the wise men, okay, it talks about how the wise men saw the star, and it's like they were watching and they were anticipating. So they were like, something's up with that. They noticed a difference. And so the first thing I want to propose that we're going to miss a lot of what God has for us if we're not paying attention. It's just going to rush past us, and we're not ever going to see it. And he's going to be like, wait, and we're going to miss it. Right. And I would suggest there's a lot of things that he wants us to see every day. And if we are in a rush, we're missing it. And I don't want to miss it.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.